I'm Catherine Ross, live from the NYSE, and filling in today for Jim Cramer is Action Alerts Plus's senior analyst, Jeff Marks. Jeff, why don't you give our audience a little bit of background on Action Alerts Plus and what your role entails?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me and letting me pinch hit for Jim today. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to everyone on the Facebook live stream. So a little bit about myself. As you said, I'm the senior portfolio analyst for Jim Cramer's Charitable Trust at Action Alerts Plus. I work side by side with Jim, developing the overall portfolio strategy and the daily content that you'll see if you're a subscriber of Action Alerts Plus. And I must say that Jim, myself, and the entire research team, Zev Fima included, we work tirelessly trying to develop an interactive service to help you invest very thoughtfully.
So today we've got a couple of headlines we got to cover. First of all, we got all the big bank CEOs heading to Capitol Hill. We've got Uber announcing that they're going to sell $10 billion worth of stock. And we've got Levi's, which is also our real money stock of the day. So let's get into it. Let's start with big bank CEOs. Now they're all on Capitol Hill. I'm wondering, what are you guys watching as a portfolio for this?
Yep, so Action Alerts Plus, we own Citigroup, we own Goldman Sachs, and we own JP Morgan. Collectively, they're going to throw the book at them. They're going to, they're not going to give them any benefit of the doubt of the type of changes that they've made since the financial crisis. I mean, look, a lot of these banks, they've been playing by the Fed's rules. The capital requirements are much stronger than when they were before. Liquidity positions much stronger than when they were before. If you take a look at Jamie Dimon, if you look at the annual letter he released last week, I mean, it shows that JP Morgan, their fortress balance sheet, has 3 times the amount of loss-absorbing resources to cover, they have more than double the amount of liquidity compared to 2008. And they have nearly 3 times the loss-absorbing resources to cover the projected losses of the 35 largest banks in America. So they're doing it right, but more importantly, these banks are going to report earnings soon, in the next couple of days. Friday is JP Morgan. So let's hear them out, let's hear what they have to say, and we'll make our judgment then.
And I gotta say, if you guys aren't watching it, I've already heard so many of the CEOs use the word transparency again and again. I've got a Twitter poll going on that I'd be interested to hear what everyone else has to say. I'm saying that they're gonna say transparency over 50 times. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right, let's move on, because I wanna also talk to you about Uber. Now, Uber announced that they're planning on selling about $10 billion worth of stock. I'm wondering, with the volatility that we've seen in Lyft, is this reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. They're obviously going to watch Lyft. They're very interested in partying what Lyft is doing and how poorly the IPO is doing. They clearly want Lyft to do well because, I mean, they're in the same type of category, so when one does well, they'll both go up in sympathy. So I think the announcement is kind of in reaction to what Lyft has been doing.
Why doesn't the portfolio get into hot IPOs or brand new IPOs?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So it is run like a charitable trust. So, we wouldn't get any, inside treatment on these IPOs. We would have to get the aftermarket price. And as you can see with Lyft, the aftermarket price initially on the IPO wasn't too good. So, I mean, that's one reason. Also, we're not flippers. We're not going to try and flip these stocks. We're long-term investors. We think with a long-term mindset. So if that's the type of strategy that you're looking for, not something to be in and out, but more of a long-term, Action Alerts Plus would be an interesting product for you. And lastly, what I want to say is, we also at Action Alerts Plus, we keep a bullpen list, right? So these are they're going to be the stocks that we have on the side. So if we do have an IPO that we think is interested, is the right investment for the retail investor, we'll let you know. We'll put that on the bullpen. We may not own it ourselves, but it is something that, if we like it, we'll let you know.
Now, of course, if you're not already signed up, you can go and sign up on actionalertsplus.com to get insights from Jeff Marks, Jim Cramer, and Zev Fima, who is the other analyst on the portfolio. Now, we have a special guest today. We're just going to bring him in. It's Kevin Curran. He is our real money reporter. He's going to talk about Levi's, which is our real money stock of the day. And again, you guys can find all of the information that you need on Levi's on Real Money. We're going to be covering it wall to wall today. Now, Kevin, why is Levi's stock of the day?
Well, one is we just talked about IPOs, and you can't just forget about IPOs the first day after they IPO. I mean, you have to follow these until there's solid data points, and now we're getting solid data points from Levi's, and the stock is moving up 7% to about the highest level that it's traded since becoming public again. And I think what you're looking at is, this is instructive not only for the retail sector, because Levi's is a good read-through to a lot of other names, notably the spin-offs that are coming for that are going to be Wrangler and Lee are going to be spun off in May, I believe. And then the other thing that's important is when you're looking at IPOs, the euphoria that was around Levi's on the first day had the stock run up, but there was a little bit of fading of that euphoria in the coming days afterwards. But now that we've got this data point, it's back up to where it was. So it shows that if you're invested on the first day and it starts to trail a little bit, you don't have to panic yet because there's more data coming. And secondly, if you're looking at some of these IPOs that have a lot of excitement around them, there might be time to wait because there's a better point to get in shortly after the IPOs.
Now, Jeff, coming from the portfolio perspective, do you have any thoughts on Levi's?
Yeah, absolutely. So Levi's is actually, you mentioned read-throughs. It's a key brand for Kohl's, which has been a very powerful position for Action Alerts Plus. And as a matter of fact, Jim is interviewing their CEO today, Michelle Goss, at the JP Morgan Retail Conference. So there's going to be a lot of more news coming out from Kohl's that we're really excited about. But again, good news for Levi's. It's good news for Kohl's as well.
All right, and I've just got one more question for you, and that is, what were you looking at in the earnings report? What was the one major detail that chopped you?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I have a trusty printout here to tell me. So there was a couple of things that are important, and Levi's is a 166-year-old company, and people are targeting it for the valuation like a growth company, and you have to ask, why is a company this old being targeted like a growth company? And it's addressing markets that have a lot of opportunity and room to run that might not be recognized yet. And I think the three things that I looked at were 18% growth in direct-to-consumer and e-commerce, 14% direct-to-consumer grew 14%, women's grew 18%, and then also international growth, especially China, was accelerating. Those are all kind of under-addressed markets. I mean, there are some concerns about how much the jeans market can grow in women's specifically because of the emergence of athleisure or companies like Lululemon that might be more popular for women consumers. But I'll flip it back to you as a woman here on set with the gender divide here. If you were looking at fashion trends in the sense of your friends or women in general, would you say that more women are buying leggings from Lululemon or jean jackets from Levi's?
Jean jackets all the way. With the springtime, it's got to be jean jackets.
All right, you heard it here first.
All right, Kevin, thank you for joining us. All right, Jeff, before we wrap, I just want to promote again, we have an Action Alerts Plus call coming up.
Yes.
Now, what are we going to look for?
So it's going to be a big call. So where are we right now? It's right before earnings season. Again, the banks are set to report this Friday. We're going to have JP Morgan. So on this call, we're going to give you the 5 rules that you must know for earnings season that will help you succeed through, because it's a crazy time. There's a lot of information flowing through, a lot of stocks moving back and forth, up or down. So we're going to help you We're going to help you navigate through this perilous time period. We're going to give you what you need to know to set you up for success. We're still looking for questions. So in addition, we always have a theme for the call, but we also do a Q&A where Jim and myself, we sit down and we answer real submitted club member questions. We're still fielding questions. So if you haven't signed up yet, or for Action Alerts Plus, or if you just simply want to trial us, let us know, trial us, send us a question. We'll be happy to answer it. There's going to be a lot of interactive things going. It's a live show. It's an hour long, so there's a lot going on, and we're really excited for this Friday.
And it kicks off right after the bank earnings kick off, so it's going to be a call that you just can't miss. All right, guys, now if you need to learn more about Levi's, go to realmoney.com, and if you want to hear more from Jim Cramer's own portfolio, go to actionalertsplus.com. We are now going to head over to Action Alerts Plus to do our members-only video.
We got more to talk about.
We got so much. We got to talk about Disney. It's coming up.
Disney, Apple, a lot of news today. We made a trade today that we're going to talk about and explain why, so a lot going on there.
There we go. All right, guys, I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet. We'll see you guys tomorrow.